Shabbat Shalom. Seeds of the reign of Yahuah. The GMO gospel, wormwood, like seedless fruit. Teachers talk about the fruit, but what about the seed? Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahuah. If his word is altered, the seed is no longer viable in that which grows up because men changed it. What is taught is like genetically modified food. The physical body needs bread, but our inner component needs the seed, also known as living water. The Ten Commandments teach us how to love. Teachers talk about the fruit, behavior, but their fruit is devoid of the seed. Seedless fruit is easy to eat because there are no seeds to deal with, and yet those seeds are what propagates the plant to make more of itself. Living foods can reproduce, but not GMOs. To the Torah and to the witness, if they do not speak according to this word, it is because they have no daybreak. Isaiah chapter 8, verses 20. Many of you have seen the humor in referring to seminaries as cemeteries. You will be shocked to learn what the word seminary actually means after you read a little bit about a metaphorical use of the term seed in Scripture. What are the seeds that Yahuah has sown? What are the seeds sown by the enemy? The instructions, Torah, commandments, of Yahuah are the good seed, which he has planted. Added, changed, or omitted instructions are the bad seeds. Altering Yahuah's word changes it to wormwood. Mankind is the diverse kind of soil they are planted in. We must discern which kind of seed we live by and who planted it. Those who accept the seed and allow it to grow in them become less soil and more of the fruit of which is planted, and time passes, more and more fruit is seen, just as we see soil becoming the vegetation that grows in it. Yahusha once went to a fig tree to look for its fruit, but it had none, so he called it to wither. Matthew chapter 21, verse 19. So even if one has good seed, if they don't produce the fruit that is expected of them, he will reject them. Bad seed sown by an enemy of Yahuah are unintended instructions that choke out the good teachings, Torah, which Yahuah originally intended. We recognize which seed was sown by observing the fruit that has developed in a person's behavior. If you compare today religious culture and its traditions with Yahuah's instructions for us in his word, it is apparent that there is a huge difference in the two. We are not taught by traditional religious leaders to walk in the Torah of Yahuah, but rather we are taught to walk in the inherited traditions passed down from the Gentiles, Greco-Roman pagan customs which became mixed into the good seed. If you think otherwise, just ask a Christian minister what he thinks about observing the true, authentic Sabbath as a day of rest and ignoring the Sunday entirely. Then you will begin to see the fruit of the bad seed and how it seeks to choke out the good seed that is trying to grow in the same field. Who planted the seed helps reveal which is good and which is bad even before we see the fruit. We either obey the words of Yahuah or we obey men. It is always our own choice. If we eat from the forbidden fruit, we will bear bad fruit and pass on bad seed instructions to others. The parables reveal hidden secrets of the reign of Yahuah, and the following excerpts use seed to illustrate how to discern what we should listen to and live by. The 10 Commandments are the good seed. Study them, and you will find something very disturbing. The Catholic format alters these 10. They eliminated the second commandment and made the 10th commandment into 2. The parable of the sower. That same day, Yahushua went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, a farmer went out to sow his seed, and he was scattering the seed. Some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a good crop, 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. He who has ears, let them hear. The disciples came to him and asked, why do you speak to the people in parables? He replied, the knowledge of the secret of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be more, and he will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even that what he has will be taken from him. This is why I speak to them in parables. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand with their hearts. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For I tell you the truth, many prophets and righteous men longed to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it. Seed equals word, the Torah of Yahuah. Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. When anyone has the message, the Sorah, gospel, about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is the seed sown along the path. The one who received the seed that fell on rocky places is the man who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since he has no root, he lasts only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, he quickly falls away. The one who received the seed that fell among the thorns is the man who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth chokes it, making it unfruitful. But the one who received the seed that fell on good soil is the man who hears the word and understands it. He produces a crop, yielding 160 or 30 times what was sown. This is the meaning of the parable. The seed is the word, Torah, of Yahuah. Those along the path are the ones who hear. And then the devil comes and takes away the word from their hearts, so that they may not believe and be saved. Those on the rock are the ones who receive the word with joy when they hear it, but they have no root. They believe for a while, but it is a time of testing they fall away. The seed that fell among thorns stands for those who hear, but as they go on their way, they have choked by all life's worries, riches, and pleasures, and they do not mature. But the seed on the good soil stands for those with a noble and good heart, who hear the word, retain it, and by persevering produce good crop. Luke chapter 8, verses 11 through 15, Yahushua defined the seed to be the word, Yahuwah's Torah. The parable of the weeds. Yahushua told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat, and went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads, then the weeds also appeared. The owner's servants came to him and said, "Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? When then did the weeds come from?" An enemy did this, he replied. The servants asked him, Do you want us to go and pull them up?" "No," he answered, "because while you are pulling the weeds, you may root up the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. At that time, I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them up in bundles to be burned. Then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn. The first to be raptured, harpazo, seized, will be the lawless, the weeds." The parable of the mustard seed and the yeast. What is the reign of Yahuah like? What shall it compare to? It's like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his garden. It grew and became a tree, and the birds of the air perched in its branches. Luke chapter 13, verses 18 through 19. The small mustard seed indicates that the teaching begins in what appears to be very weak, humble condition. But one day they will grow to fill the whole earth and dominate all other seeds. The Torah will do that. He told them still another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into a large amount of flour until it worked all through the dough. The Torah will do that. Yahushua spoke all these things to the crowd in parables. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. So was fulfilled that was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. The parable of the weeds explained. Then he left the crowd and went into the house. His disciples came to him and said, "Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field." He answered, "The one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the sons of the kingdom. The weeds are the sons of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are the Malachim, the messengers. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, his messengers, his Malachim, and they will weed out his kingdom, everything that causes sin, and all who do evil. They will throw them into a fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let them hear." The parable of the hidden treasure and the pearl. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. the parable of the net. Once again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kinds of fish. When it was full, the fishermen pulled it up on the shore. Then they sat down and collected the good fish in baskets, but threw away the bad. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into a fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Have you understood all these things? Yahushua asked. Yes, they replied. He said to them, therefore every teacher of the law, Torah, has been instructed about the kingdom of heaven is like the owner of a house who brings out his storeroom new treasures as well as old. Seminary. In some of the larger communities in Europe during the 1500s, the Catholic bishops realized how uneducated their priests were. In order to educate them better and bring more uniformity and control to the organization, they called the priests to attend lessons taught by the bishops in cathedral schools. Many diverse subjects were added as time passed, and the broader selection of instructed subjects caused the term university to become applied to the schools. Another term was applied to those universities of religious learning. Seminary. Definition: a special school providing education in theology, religious history, etc., primarily to prepare students for the priesthood, ministry, or rabbinate. Etymology. Middle English, seed plot, from Latin seminarium, from seminarius, of seed, from semen, seed. The good seeds and bad seeds are mixed together in these seed plots and allowed to grow. But the bad seeds quickly choke out the good seeds, as we see the teachings of these seminaries teach their replacement theology and scream legalism or Judaizer. When anyone wishes to live according to the good seed, the Torah of Yahuah, knowing that the bad seeds are sown by the devil, who have been behind the seminaries and their teaching seeds. This was the seeds of the reign of Yahuah. Shalom, everybody.